Hey everyone, Dave Cowing here. You're watching the Expert Series hosted by NovusNorth, where we explore all things product, experience, and financial services with leaders on the front lines. Today, I'd like to welcome Jim Tessmer for a special two-part episode where we'll learn about product experience in B2B financial services. Jim is the head of digital product strategy at Brown Brothers Harriman, a privately held financial institution that serves the most sophisticated individuals and institutions with expertise in private banking, investment management, and investor services, and operates globally. Hi, Jim. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks, Dave. Super excited to be here with the opportunity to chat with you, and of course, flattered by NovusNorth's invite to participate in the Expert Series.
Well, we appreciate your time. Maybe you could take a minute and introduce yourself.
You know, I've spent the majority of my career in the asset servicing space where, custody banks provide the plumbing underneath the financial ecosystem that keeps it working smoothly for institutional investors and asset managers. And, in that space, I played operational and some technology and a little bit of strategy roles, both within the industry and a bit as a consultant too. And maybe through a bit of intent and a lot of luck, I've been able to spend the last 15 years or so focused on user experience for B2B relationships and businesses. And, one of the things that I've been fortunate in, again, somewhat unplanned, is early in my career, I was able to spend some time in the operational roles that today I design some solutions for. And so it's been really helpful for me to empathize with our user personas and understand their journeys. Today, I lead Brown Brothers' digital product strategy team, and I've got responsibility for the overarching digital client experience strategy, the roadmap, and delivery for all the products in our investor services business.
I think your background in everything from operations to user and product experience gives you an amazing sort of platform. Maybe to kick us off, kind of a foundational question, how do you use user experience to differentiate yourself in an institutional business? It's very transactional and data-driven.
Yeah, good question, and certainly very different than a retail type experience to be designing for. And we really think about it sort of from two perspectives and two very different user personas. And one being that of a decision maker, where our goal is to really differentiate BBH's products and our services and our technology to executive decision makers. And these personas, at the end of the day, may not actually be the ones who are using and engaging with our user experience, but we utilize the digital experience to showcase product value propositions in real-time, highly interactive and engaging demonstrations. It's really immersive, and it enhances all the technology and operations that underlie and make up our product offerings. So here we leverage the user experience in a way to differentiate our core services to decision makers who are making decisions about hiring Brown Brothers as their service provider. And then the second persona is really sort of our core one, and it's that I describe or think about as an operational manager or processor. And as you mentioned, as we started, that Brown Brothers provides outsourced services and value-added services into the bigger ecosphere of the asset management industry and operations. And those things range from sort of critical daily time-dependent processes around like transaction processing and record keeping to other types of events like tax processing or board reporting. But in general, these processes are real-time, they're global, and they produce massive amounts of data. And so key to this persona is the ability to surface what's really important right now, dive into the detail, and remediate and resolve any types of exceptions or anomalies. And so while the objective of our industry is certainly system-to-system integration, straight-through processing, automation, there's a real sweet spot for the user experience that's well-tuned for that role. And we've guided our UX strategy around really key three themes, and first being actionable insights, operational transparency, and the third around data centricity.
So those are all intriguing themes that strike a chord with me. I've seen organizations that talk about actionable insights, but struggle to execute. Fewer have effectively addressed operational transparency and data centricity. Yeah, maybe you could drill into these themes and how they've impacted your strategy.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. So let's start with actionable insights, which is driven by looking at the full user journey with data. And connecting the detection of an anomaly or risk with the tool that the user needs to remediate it. So connecting sort of discrete data and applications into a more seamless user journey. Examples we have is around, in our industry and services, trade fails or overdraft forecasts, where we have plenty of data to surface to our users anomalies that they should address. But we also have other tools which give them the opportunity to then take an action and resolve that issue that we have surfaced. And so we look to connect the insight with the action and deliver to our clients a connected and sort of executable comprehensive journey. A great analogy that I always think of is, in my car, it certainly alerts me when I'm low on fuel. So there's my insight. I need gas. But it also then activates my navigation system and locates for me nearby gas stations. And so there's the fuel system connecting to the navigational system to not only give me an insight, but then give me the ability to act on it by telling me how to get to the closest gas station and connect sort of discrete systems and discrete pieces of information to put together a holistic user journey. And so that's how we think about actionable insights. And a second one, operational transparency. So, as I mentioned, Brown Brothers plays a role in a broader asset management ecosphere. And in that ecosphere, for example, one of our services is daily net asset value calculation for various types of global fund products. Here in the US, you can think about mutual funds and the net asset values that we all see in the newspaper or various websites where we go to look at our retirement portfolios. But it's a time-critical process. It has hard deadlines for those net asset values to be calculated and distributed into market-facing channels. Early in the pandemic, our clients were really anxious about our ability to complete that daily NAV processing and hit those deadlines. But on our portal, we had built an experience that we call NAV Progress, which provides real-time transparency into our operational processes and the detail of all the steps and checks that need to happen in the NAV calculation process, including that key last one about getting them distributed out to the market channels. And so that gave our clients a lot of trust in our ability, in insight, into real-time insight into our ability to meet those goals. I think of it like package tracking, like, you order something, a package or a product, and you get an estimated delivery date, but it's always great to look at the detailed tracking and understand and be comfortable that that package is indeed on its way to you and not misdirected somewhere else or not going to hit the date when you expect it. And so we've always found it with our clients, it's much more comfortable for them when they understand when those events and those processes are happening. Another great example is in client onboarding, where our transfer agency service, where time to revenue is really important for clients, but it's dependent on complex account opening processes. And again, here, our digital experience is focused on the intra-company workflow and the processes around opening an account and receiving all this unique information. And so status, tasks, information needed to complete an opening, which again is really complex in our market and driven by unique regional regulatory requirements and very necessary know your client verifications. We've also tied that experience to our actionable insights goal. And so we use the operational transparency as well to allow clients to act on and collaborate with us in resolving issues with account openings. It's been a real game changer for a service that was historically supported by faxes, emails, and phone calls, and generally opaque to our clients once they had submitted that original opening. And my final, and maybe one of my favorites of the ones, is around data centricity. And Dave, as I mentioned, that I had spent time in the roles that I now design products for. And this is one area that I really empathize with about sort of quick and easy access to data, and whether it's transactions, record keeping, whatever it may be. But I always found that there was a uniqueness of the analysis that I was doing or the client account that I was working on, where a standard canned report just never fit the need. And it was always really hard to unpack and restructure the report or the data to fit the question I was trying to answer or the analysis I was trying to complete. And so many times I've heard from my clients, just get me the data. And so we've moved from a report-centric experience to a data-centric experience. And I sort of characterize that around a couple key terms that I like to use. And the first is instantly adoptable. And we really believe that ease of use in this part of our UX design is absolutely key. And the bottom line for us here as we think about this is to avoid replicating the softwares that are already on our users' desktops and the ones they use to consume and analyze this data. And instead, we want to focus on getting the right data into those tools effortlessly. And then the second one is around immediate immersion to the data. And as I mentioned before, our users and clients, they spend their days in the depths of mass amounts of transactional and record-keeping data. But they feel really at home in it. And when they can see the data, they get quickly comfortable and then able to sort of massage it into what they need. And so our UX approach here is to expedite the user journey to seeing the data and present it in an interactive experience that then users can really quickly and easily organize it to fit their needs and get it into the tool that fits them best and they're most comfortable with.
Wow, there's really a lot there. I've just been absorbing this. All of these feel like they're so important to a services business, and really a client's business really depends on, both understanding where things stand, where they are in their expectations from you or from any organization, and then being able to reliably act on that information to meet their business commitments. This has been a fantastic discussion, Jim, and the first of two. So I really look forward to sharing the second half of this discussion in a future episode. Thank you, Jim.
You're welcome, Dave. See you soon.